All right. We are recording. You're back with your host with the most, capital E, coming to you live. Well, not live. We're never live, but eventually we will go live. Eventually we'll go live. But right now, yes, we're coming to you from Sheridan College in Oakville, and we have a great couple topics today. One of them's a little controversial. The other one's kind of a would you rather. But either way, I want to dive into them both, like usual, and really get into depth on why people might think about certain things that they think about. Mm-hmm. So, without further ado, we will start off how we always start off, by going around the table and saying a little bit about ourselves. Now, today's a very, very special show. I'm very excited about it because it's 3 people from my hometown. One of them, in fact, I actually went to high school with. Very exciting. This is very different. Yeah, I'm not used to, usually it's just my Oakville crew, and today it's my Milton crew.
Well, that's not really from Milton.
I'm not really
He's
from
in Milton.
I'm an outsider.
Well, I met him in Milton. But so we'll go around, and Matt, when we do come back to you, please, I want to know about where you're from. So, going around the table, my high school bro, Alex Woe, what is up?
It's Wah, by the way.
Oh, Wah. I always say Wah. I always say the wrong name. Okay, thanks
it's all good.
Thanks for correcting me. So,
it's Wah up, man.
What up, man? Oh no, I ran into Eric, in high school. Like he was a random kid sitting in beside a black guy.
Beside a black guy?
Yeah, it was Jordan Fryer, I think.
Oh, it was Jordan Fryer. Yeah. That guy's the man. I love that dude.
Yeah, and then you were just like looking all like,
How was that looking? How was that looking back then?
You kind of look confused, but at the same time, like in the best way possible.
Well, I guess nothing's changed after
like,
here.
It's like
I'm always confused.
It's like you look at this guy in the eyes, and you're like, he has like you almost think to yourself like this guy's like the weight of the world on his shoulders, but realistically, when you look into this person's head,
there's
he's
nothing
probably
there.
There's
nothing there.
He's just thinking about like if
it's like a hot air balloon,
like
very big, but there's nothing going on hollow inside.
Yeah,
it's like, it's all hollow inside. There.
What if like Pop-Tarts had like meat in them? Like
okay,
that's I guess probably what you were thinking of in grade 12. Like
you must have read my mind perfectly, because that's all I ever thought about in grade 12. Anyways, Alex, thank you for joining the show. It's great to have you down at the bar. We're here, the staff here, capital E only. Right now,
it's a pleasure.
Is thankful. Thank you. Going across the table, Matt, the man not from Milton. What is up, Matt?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on the capital E right here. I'm from Mississauga originally, but I've been living in the Niagara region.
I was born in Mississauga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was born at Credit Valley Hospital.
I was born in Credit Valley Hospital as well.
You're hospital bros.
Now that's what's up. That's what's up. Me and Matt actually go way back. All right, Matt. So what's interesting about you? Give me a sentence on why people want to hear about Matt.
I'm an alcoholic.
Yes, that is awesome. That's fantastic.
Hey man, as a real alcoholic, I find that offensive.
I'm kidding. So those are my 2 new guests, 2 first timers. Again, blessed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
You're about to pop my podcast cherry.
You're about to pop. You're popping.
Hey, you said it last time. I choked when I tried to say that the first time.
You're popping your podcast cherry.
Yes, you are.
And now to my right, Mr. Will Lewin, a 3rd-time contributor.
Yeah,
Will,
buddy.
Welcome back.
Our time number 3. I'm back, man. Back at it.
All right.
I'm excited, man.
Always happy to have you, man. Always happy to have you. Always happy to have everyone, including newcomers especially. And after we do the show, we'll talk about what you guys think about being on it and how you feel about recording, and we'll talk about when you guys can come back.
Yeah, the future.
Because I have topics.
Oh, for sure.
Out my ass. I do. I got mad topics. All I do is write topics and work as a manager because I got promoted and fuck yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome.
But your douchebag brother got,
my
promoted to store owner,
my douchebag brother he got promoted to store owner. So check me out on TikTok or on Instagram or even on Snapchat to find out the douchebag brother segments. I'm going to make that a TV show. I will. But we're not talking about my douchebag brother today. We are talking about my Instagram topics. So without further ado, we will dive into the first one. The first one, a little bit controversial. But I want to know what you guys actually think. Now, I think I know what you guys are going to say.
This is a toasty topic, isn't it?
No, but it is. But you know what? You guys, I know how you guys are. And I think that you all are going to agree with me on this. But I want to pick your brains a little bit on why somebody may think the opposite.
Okay.
Now, maybe you guys do think the opposite. I don't know. But we will dive into this.
Okay.
Nowadays, as you know, we're living in a very, very progressive world.
Regressive. I'm kidding.
So
millennial bubble wrap.
Exactly. And everything has to be bubble wrapped. Right?
I'm offended at these ideas.
I'm offended.
Caution.
I'm offended.
I'm offended that you invited me.
I need puppies.
Yeah.
I need puppies to pet. Those words hurt me.
I'm offended that you're calling me out on being offended, essentially.
Well, I'm
right?
offended because you implied that I'm offended, but I'm not offended.
I
but
can't
now
even tell this is a
offended.
joke anymore. I'm offended.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So anyways, we will rock and roll into it. All right. So the first question is, in today's standards, is it still appropriate, and are they still funny, racist and sexist jokes? We start clockwise. Alex, go. Are they? Now, your options are, yes, they're still funny as hell. No, nowadays they are, in fact, inappropriate. Tell me why. Tell me what you think, and then tell me why somebody may think the opposing view.
Well, I personally think that by repressing these jokes, as I was saying earlier, as a joke, like I do think it's like a regressive act, because like no matter what you say, the events in history happened, right?
Oh, of course.
And like there's nothing we could do to alter that.
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
Hopefully.
And I agree with you. But would you say that you still think they're funny, or do you think?
I think when it's done right, it's tasteful humor. Like realistically, like if I was just gonna say we should completely abolish like any sort of jokes involving race, then it's like it's gonna be like the elephant in the room. Like again, it's like I think it should be something that open. It's like I should be able to look at my mixed race friend. I'm kidding, mixed race.
Are you looking at the mirror there?
By the way, mixed race just means that you look Hispanic, but you want more attention.
Well, can it be anything really?
Like I'm just kidding, but no. Realistically, like I personally think that it's absolutely outrageous that people still think that it's a topic that offends them to this day. Like I'm not saying embrace it. I'm not saying that as soon as you see someone that isn't of your race, you should make fun of them. But I think it should be a topic of conversation. Like it should be something. It should be something that we're comfortable enough to do.
Okay.
Because you know what? Hopefully there isn't going to be another Holocaust anytime soon.
Oh God, no.
It's like
of course not.
Like it should be something that is normal by now. It's like, hey, I have a black friend. Hey, I have a so and so friend. Like, I want to get to the point where that stuff is so normal that we don't really need to bring it up. And that, you know what I mean? Like,
so you think we should probably move past those jokes and put it behind us, essentially?
I don't. I think that it should just be an everyday occurrence. Like just because it's to me it's why are we making it such a big topic?
So you think that they're jokes and that's just the end of it?
Yeah, they're just jokes.
So just take it and just understand that there's nothing personal coming from it.
Like it's like obviously if there's something personal, then that you can work on that on a case-to-case basis. But like what are you talking about?
I'll PTSD from that phrase, but please go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yes. Matt will have a chance to rebuttal as soon as you are done.
And like I said, there's probably like for one argument about this topic, there's probably 1,000 counter arguments, right? So it's like, that's just personally my opinion. When you ask, just breathing into the mic. If you ask me right now, so yeah, it can.
I thought that was a boom. I looked up. I thought someone was coming through the floor.
It's harp controlling the weather, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I can move on from that. If anyone has anything to.
Well, no, like so, I'm still a little bit confused. Are you on no, they're inappropriate, or yes, they're funny?
No, I think they're hilarious.
Okay, so you think they're funny, and you essentially what I'm getting from what you're saying is that there's a time and a place.
Yeah, there's a time.
And we have to understand that these are jokes, and like don't take them personally because we're never going to be able to put racism.
Yeah, it's like
and sexism behind us if people think that
with any sort of humor, there's a time and place. Like it's not like you're gonna find me in the middle of Harlem and then I'm just gonna yell the N-word.
Oh well, you shouldn't be doing that. That's over the top. You shouldn't be doing that.
There's a time and place.
That's not a racist joke. That's just racism.
It's kind of like how if I wanted to make fun of like poor people, aka myself, like I wouldn't go to inferior neighborhood financially and just like start yelling at people for buying Walmart brand soap or something.
Okay. All right. I do kind of want to come back to you because I'm still a little confused, but I'm
confused too.
I see what you're getting at. All right. Matty boy, what's up? What do you think about racist jokes and sexist jokes? Are they inappropriate now in this progressive world, or are they still funny and acceptable?
Well, it's like I said earlier when I said millennial bubble wrap is just very much like I feel like people are suppressed when they can't joke the way they want, and also too, I mean, like you said yourself too, Eric. Racism and sexism are things that have already happened historically, and we might as well joke about things because what they'll tell, if we're going to talk about like dark humor, they tell a lot of war veterans who suffer from PTSD to have a dark sense of humor to get through what they get through, right?
Okay,
so
cool.
At the end of the day too, I mean, it should just be like Alex said, something that is normalized and not something that is enforced, but you do exercise caution in the regard of when you meet a stranger, for instance, you might you might not want to use the N-word or something like that,
Okay. Well, of course. Well, I mean, the N-word is. Personally, I think that's not even debatable about whether we use that word or not.
Yeah.
Right. That's not my opinion. Using that word is not a. It's not a joke. It's okay to make black jokes, in my opinion. We will get to you, and it's okay to make gay jokes. Hell, if a person of color told me a white joke, I'd laugh my ass off because Now I understand that we have not faced the same kind of history.
That's
so
debatable.
Yeah, there's a lot of white genocide.
There's definitely a lot of it, but
like it's
1700s Moorish raid on Spain.
Well, in South Africa, it's really bad right now. In South Africa, it's really bad. But I mean, from where we live, obviously, people of color, POCs, have dealt. It has been a bit more challenging for them here. Sure. So I understand why jokes about them are a bit. But it's like, you know what? As long as you understand that it's. Sorry, I'm taking over Will's time. Will, please tell me where you stand on this, and then we'll come back to Capital.
Well, yeah,
E.
I totally think if they're done right, they're funny. It's kind of like a way to embrace each other's stereotypes and whatever. Not
exactly.
Like in Canada, we're a country where a bunch of different people from different cultures come here and stuff like that. And when it comes to interpersonal relationships, we goof on each other if we're slightly different race. Like we goof on Alex all the time because he's Japanese and Russian, and
which is something I did.
People goof on me because I'm native. I haven't been a native in me, so
really, this is news to me, by the way. Capital E did not know about Will and his nativeness.
I've told you about this a million times. I don't know.
He's proud of his
not my
roots.
friend.
He's wearing a headdress right now.
Yeah, pretty much. but anyhow,
he can say that he's native.
Exactly. I got my native cardio.
Can you please stop? I'm offended, Will.
No, I'm offended because you're offended.
All right, so we've mainly I want to go.
Well, hold on. It's just what I was gonna say. I remember when I went to high school and PR and stuff like that. There was a very even divide of people of color and white people and stuff like that. I wouldn't say anyone was a majority or a minority. Yeah. And we used to goof on each other all the time. It was a very, very normal thing. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, after I graduated and whatever not, this PC movement came out and started oh my God, you're racist. And it's all about context. I feel like people just don't understand what body language is.
I think
there's a huge difference in tone and stuff like that. How you relaying yourself to other people. If you're being racist and you're using racial slurs and in a mean way, through your tone and your body language, of course you're being racist. But you're with a buddy who's a different color of you, whatever, and obviously if you say it in a joking way, it's a joke, and if you misinterpret that, then you apologize or whatever and you explain yourself. But in all honesty, a lot of people I just don't see the point of getting mad over something that silly.
Okay, no, and I agree with you. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this particular topic, but we didn't touch on the sexist part about it at all.
Oh, true.
We didn't touch. We talked mainly about the racist part. We didn't talk about the sexist part, which is also a big deal nowadays.
Yeah, it seems you can't really make girl jokes, but it's okay where you see these ultra feminists go on Twitter and whatever not and shit on men no problem, and it's funny, I guess. But some people in their circle jerk think it's funny.
Feminism nowadays is not about equality. It's about overpowerment.
It's about female what's the word I'm thinking of? Help me out here. Female. Control, I guess. I mean, that's not the word I was thinking of, but
it's the feminist agenda.
Domination, power, stuff like that. There was a better word, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. I think they're still funny as long as it's the appropriate time or the place.
Yes.
If you're out with your buddies, and I think you have to play it by your audience a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm glad that you touched on the body language speaks a long way, which is why things can get misconstrued over online.
Especially online.
Text messages too, right?
Because it's just text, whereas 70, I think it's 70 or 80% of communications actually through body language,
right.
And 20% is through speech.
Yeah, and you're getting rid
writing
of
and stuff
you're
like
getting
that.
rid of that body language perspective, and realistically, that's why. And realistically, we live in a day and age where most people probably communicate to one another most of the time online rather than in person.
Yeah,
and once you have a majority of people doing that, I find that there's a lot of times where the messages to one another gets a little mixed up.
Yeah,
and I think that's really prominent in this day and age. Just because it's even if you think about it, if I 20 years ago, heck, even 15 years ago, it's I wasn't able to message a buddy of mine, let's just say in Sao Paulo, in a matter of seconds. You know, I had to call him, and you know, it's like, and even if you're talking to someone over the phone, yes, like the body language aspect isn't there, but at the same time,
there's still the
like,
audio.
There's still audio, exactly. It's like, and you know, judging by the way I'm personally talking right now, you could probably tell that I'm very relaxed, and you know, it's like, and you have that aspect to at least work with. You know, it's like
100%.
it's like, you know, obviously punctuation is one thing, but at the same time, that can only go so far.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, I'm glad to hear from all you guys. Now, I'll quickly jump into the statistics, which I picked up off Instagram.
Yeah.
Of course, my polls are not the most gigantic polls, so you know this might just be anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
But it may also kind of lead us into a direction of where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And this poll did surprise me. So we had 22 people that turned out for the poll in general. Alex, I do have one question for you when we're done this, and I want you to touch on it briefly because we have to move on to the second topic. We are already almost at 20 minutes, believe it or not. So, 22 people turned out for this poll. 16 people versus 6 people, which is 73% to 27% said they're still funny. I didn't expect that. I expected more people to say, no, they're not funny anymore. But more people, 73% to 27%, 16 to 6. Not that much people, 22 total, but still, it's interesting. Now.
Well, I have actually kind of a small comment about that. It's interesting because, like, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, these people on Twitter, they're a very small vocal minority. And, like, you know, a majority of people, you know, might not go on Twitter, but there is an actual silent majority. So most people do think that, but are afraid to say that because of those vocal minority making it, like, you know, making a huge ruckus about it.
Of course.
And then obviously trying to make people believe and whatever not that, you know, it's almost like shames people into not actually voicing their opinion and whatever not.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you. So, in total, in the entire poll, we had 11 girls vote in total. 11 in total.
Mm-hmm.
5 girls said they're inappropriate. 6 said they're still appropriate, which is 45.5 to 54.5% of girls think that they're still funny. That shocked me a bit. I mean, it is close, 5 to 6, but I'm still, you know, girls are a bit more sensitive. Right, so I expected more girls to be like, oh, inappropriate. I expected more guys to say funny as hell. Which brings me to the greatest part of the statistics. 11 guys voted in general. 10 guys said still funny. 1 guy said no. That 1 guy is from Milton. We all know who he is.
Oh, no.
Should I say who he is, or should we keep that confidential?
No, don't dox the guy.
No,
don't dox the guy.
Just tell me afterwards.
We're not gonna shit on anyone here, but I will mention who it is to you guys once I hit stop. But that is a 90.9% ratio to 9.1%. So, and I expected this. I expected more guys to say it's funny because guys still have this type of humor.
Just like most topics in life, I think there's always that one asshole that's kind of ruining it for everyone else.
Well, you know what? You're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe, right? But Alex, I want to pick your brain on this. And I'm just going to ask because, you know, fuck it. Capital E ask questions. You are, you know, me, Matt, and Will are white. You are a person. You're Japanese, right?
Yeah.
So that's why
he's kind of more pale than all of us when you look at it.
Well, I mean, funny, you know, but
that's true.
Yeah.
Still
So I want to know. Is there a time and a place where you've ever felt like, okay, maybe that was that type of racist joke, or do you not give a fuck? It's funny.
You know what? I personally think that like from my experience, what makes me uncomfortable is not any sort of racial humor. Like, you know, anyone could say anything about you know, exploit any bad thing that the Japanese did in the past, and I'd probably find that funny. It's like I have a very I'm a very wide spectrum of humor. Like I don't really care. It's like I could probably hang out with like a bunch of KKK people involved with the KKK and be like, hey, everything's good.
Well, I'm just kidding. They probably wouldn't want to hang out with you.
But my point is, I think what makes me more angry is just cultural ignorance. Like it's like like if someone comes up to me and, you know, asks me like
just some blatant,
just being like, hey man, what part of Tokyo is Hong Kong in? You know, it's like, and I'm like, wait, what did you just say? It's like, but none of that makes sense. Like, or like, you know, it's like someone coming up to me and saying like ni hao or something. You know, it's like,
so basically there's a line between humor and just, come on, buddy, that's blatant ignorance.
But it's like, I think what irritates me is when they come up.
China and Japan one country.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how far you go back. I'm kidding. No, but I think that's what.
Did you ever visit Seoul, Korea? Oh, I shouldn't have said the Korea. Oops.
What irritates me is like when someone comes up to me with like the utmost confidence and just starts spitting facts about Japan when realistically none of it's true. I think it's
So-
just, it's like the cultural ignorance standpoint. Like I said, and that to itself isn't much of a humor standpoint. It's just more,
Blatant ignorance.
yeah, just don't come up to me and spit some facts that I know aren't true.
So okay, so for you it's ignorance is the big
Yeah, it's
issue.
a big thing,
You
and
could
I
do
think
what
that
you-
could carry over to humor too. Like realistically, it's like
Okay.
I think that like if you're making racist jokes, at least be correct about what they're doing.
Okay, no.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I
very,
agree.
very good answer. Very good answer.
Yeah.
Alex actually still has a shrine in his room to Emperor Hirohito. So.
Hey, don't talk about that, man. Like, I actually,
That's cultural
I prayed all the zeros that fell during the war.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
All right. So I would say, in general, we all have a pretty much unanimous agreement that they're still
Exactly.
funny, but there's time and a place,
Always
and
a
just
time and
how you
place.
deliver it,
Yeah.
and you play it by your audience as well.
Mhm.
All right. Well, feel free after this video, once it's posted, to comment, and please let me know what you think about racist or sexist jokes. And we're not gonna touch on it way too right now because we've moved way too long into this.
Yeah. Well,
But talk about. I want to know about homophobic jokes as well. I want to know just about just joking aspect. Nobody here is a homophobic at all. We're not suggesting that. We're not. We're not implying that at all. But I want to know about the time and place and playing it by your audience, about whether it's okay or not. So, moving on to topic number 2. We will go counterclockwise, starting with Will. Now, this one, we don't have to spend too much time on talking about it, because this is more of a decision and why. And before I read the statistics. So, what would be worse? A bear attack or a shark attack? Will, go. Floor is yours.
Ooh, I would say shark attack.
Okay.
I'd say
Why?
100%. Well, it's because you're in the water, you're already very vulnerable, and sharks have a very, very, like, compared to bears, they have a stronger bite by, like, probably, like, 1,000 times. And because you're out in the water, well, I mean, it depends. It's all about context. So you're probably with people or not. But, like, if you're on the, a beach of Florida and stuff like that, and a shark gets you, at least there's, like, a lot of people around, so there might be a chance. But even then, like, a shark could just grab you and you're underneath the water. And drowning is a horrible way to die. So,
Yeah.
I've heard it's actually, look, I've heard mixed things. I've heard it's horrible. I've also heard it's peaceful. Once your lungs fill up, apparently, this is just what I've heard. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying I've heard some
Yeah.
things, but I've also heard it's horrible.
How about if you're drowning and on fire at the same time? That'd be pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean,
dive
okay,
head first into a
okay.
BP oil
Drowning in
spill.
oil.
yeah, that's the only way that, yeah. Okay, thank you for answering, Will. Matt, across the table, what do you think? And why?
So bear or shark attack? I'd say, in all honesty, man, a shark would probably be worse just because the water's not our natural environment,
Yeah.
whereas the land is.
That's exactly what I was saying.
And also, I mean, you come to think about, I don't know what the exact distance is that a shark can smell blood, but
Very far.
But if you're already bleeding, then that shark's gonna go haywire. But chances are, if you play still and there's just a passing shark, I would just do that. Just kind of like play dead, be still, and see if the shark passes you. If it's not just gonna attack, if it's not already vicious. As for a bear, they say to play dead, but I don't really believe that.
Think about how hard that's going to be.
If
Yeah,
hungry
right?
enough, they will go for you. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, over to you, Alex.
I'm not gonna say anything new. Everything's already been said, but I personally agree with everyone. I think that a shark attack would be immensely worse, just because, like Matt said, you're not in your prime environment. And like I personally think that any person is probably more well equipped to deal with a bear attack rather than someone getting attacked by a shark.
Okay.
It's like because realistically, if you're out in the woods. You're most likely already equipped for some sort of camping activities, right?
Well, you'd assume so.
Yeah,
Unless you're
unless you're hiking.
Yeah.
But regardless, I could think of many more ways to escape myself getting attacked by a bear than rather me getting attacked by a shark.
Yeah.
So that's personally my opinion. I love sharks. I've had shark before. It tastes really good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I personally don't want to get attacked by anything.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to be attacked by anything. This question is total hypothetical and just, if you had your choice.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. Now, and most people do, as I will read the statistics in a second. But, now, I think a shark, too, would be worse for the same exact reasons that you guys think. And one big thing that could go either way for bear or shark, if a shark... sharks very rarely will target human beings.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, that's
bears
huge.
won't usually do it either, but it's way more likely for
Way
you to
more,
have a
yeah,
bear that is
exactly.
hungry and it's going to eat, and if that bear decides you're prey, you're prey.
Or if you're near its cub unexpectedly.
Or
like,
exactly,
yeah,
right? You can run into where it's never gonna, a shark's never gonna attack you out of defense. It's gonna come up. It's mistaken you for something, and it's gonna come up, and you have a better chance of a shark just taking a bite and being like, "Fuck this, I don't like human," and dipping off.
Yeah.
Now, thing that sucks about that is when sharks do taste bite, that could be your leg,
Yeah.
and that's them just taking a
That's
quick.
just-
Am I into this? I'm not into
It's like
this.
a little sampler dish.
Yeah.
It's a sample, and that's your leg. Now it might just be a quick nip in the side.
Yeah.
But a bear, not necessarily grizzly, but any kind of bear, if they want you,
Probably
they're
gonna
taking you
eat
down. But a bear may also fight out of defense, whereas a shark really won't. A shark is just going to be
Yeah.
like, I think you're something else. I'm going to go take a quick bite and, I don't like this, and leave. So that's where it could be like, okay, well, maybe I'd prefer maybe the bear attack might be worse.
Take a quick bite and leave. I think I've done the same thing at Eastside Mario's. You know?
Exactly, right? Exactly. So that's what I would say. I would say, there is I think
also because well, actually, it depends on the shark too. There's, the sharks, they're broad species. They come in varying size, but just like picturing it in mind right now, like
Great white.
for a bear, okay, great white, to a great white, we're a very small little piece of food. Whereas to a bear, because we could be anything from 130 to 180 to 200 pounds. That's a big meal for a bear.
Yeah,
and that
of
can
course.
probably last a bear for a long time.
Of
So
course,
that's
yeah.
in that sort of context. Yeah, I'd say that bears will more likely attack you for that reason.
All right, interesting. So the polls came back. We only had 21 people turn out for this one. 76% said the shark would be worse. That's worse. That
makes
is
sense.
against the 24% that said for the bear, which is 16 people to 5 people. So it seems like that's a pretty big that's a pretty big disparity there.
Yeah.
I think that more people, and I agree the shark would be worse, but there's definitely some things you have to touch on how the bear could be worse.
Oh, 100%.
Right? The bear is not going to, if once a bear, it has more, what's the word I'm thinking of? It has more reasons, I suppose, to attack you, as opposed to a shark would just be pretty much testing you out. Right? Whereas a bear, it could be attacking in defense. It could be rabid. It could be starving. It could be, I'm sure there's other things I can't think of.
Defending its cubs.
Defending its cubs.
That's probably
right?
the biggest reason.
Yeah.
That's why they always say never pet a cub.
yeah.
If you see a baby bear, get the hell out of there.
leave.
man.
'Cause
Leave
mom's
right
close.
away. Mom's close.
Mom's
yeah.
close. Get out of there. Yeah. So, and I think another thing is you're never gonna surprise a shark. Shark knows that you're there miles away. The bear, you can surprise. That's why they say when you go hiking, whistle in bear country. Whistle because they have great hearing. But if you're quiet, you could realistically round a bend, come face to face, scare the bear, and the bear. Its only option is I gotta fight my way out of this, and you're never gonna win a fight. No matter what.
I think the only thing going for the bear aspect of things is that the probability of this happening to us that live north of the equator. I think if we're having this conversation in let's just say Miami, Florida, you might have more people just automatically just saying, yeah, the shark attack would be worse. But it's more plausible for all of us to get attacked by a bear than a shark. So I think that we have
That's a
that
very good
weighing
point.
against,
That's a very
'cause
good
it's
point.
Now, when's the last time you went to a white sand beach and said, let's go swimming, for a while?
Lake Erie, yeah.
It's but at the same time, I remember the last time I went hiking in the woods,
Yeah.
and
So for here, it's possible that more people may be like, oh, a bear might be worse, but in Australia, it's not even going to be close.
oh, it's
Yeah.
just
Right? They're all going to be like, well, why are we scared of no bear over
Yeah.
here? We got snakes, spiders, and great whites, all that stuff to worry about,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it does. It depends on where you stand, I guess, where you live, where your geography situation is. That's definitely a big point. Of the 7 guys in total that turned out for this poll, 5 said shark, 2 said bear.
yeah.
I can agree to that. And for the 14 girls, 11 girls to 3 girls. So I don't even have to get into percentages here. You can just read it and see that like
Yeah, exactly.
way more people are scared of the shark. But I do see what you're saying about how people, it depends on where you live, right?
Yeah, it's more plausible for us to get.
We have a
attacked
way
by
more
a bear,
chance
yeah.
of encountering a bear where we live as opposed to great white shark. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Where's the nearest ocean? Newfoundland?
We got the landlocked blues
Yeah.
going on
But
here.
yo, it's all about the Jaws life, man. Like that movie scares the shit out of people. That's
and
probably-
Jaws freaks people out.
Yeah.
Jaws definitely
Yeah.
probably helps with this. So I mean, I'm sold on the shark attack being
Yeah.
worse. You guys all
Yeah, I'm sold on that.
sold?
Same.
I'm sold on the
100%
shark
sold.
attack.
Yeah. Now, having said that, they would both suck. And Matt, I'm glad you brought up the point about playing dead with a bear, because fuck that. I don't want to do that.
No.
You know,
no,
and
that's-
unfortunately, they say don't run, but my first initial instinct is to fucking bolt.
Yeah, they say
I
that
feel like
actually.
Yeah.
maybe run up a tree.
Yeah, I was just
No,
gonna say, like,
you
if,
could do
if there
that.
is a tree you could climb,
Yeah.
I mean, hypothetically.
Yeah, but some bears can climb trees
Yeah,
too.
black
yeah,
bears
but,
can.
Yeah,
Like-
but the difference is we can go higher in the tree
Yeah, that's true.
than them, because eventually their weight will take a toll.
Yeah.
Whereas we are substantially lighter.
Lighter, yeah.
Anakin, I have the high ground.
I love that scene. Yeah, and I read somewhere actually, just to give you an example of the strength difference between human beings and bears, fully grown adult bears. They said that a 2-year-old child has a better chance of winning a fight against a linebacker than a grown-up, trained, strong man
Yeah.
does against a fully grown grizzly bear. So that just goes to show the difference.
Yeah.
If an infant child has a better chance of beating an NFL linebacker, there's a big, massive disparity, and that's bigger than what I knew it was always big. I didn't know it was that humongous. You know what I mean? And polar bears are the greatest land predator on the entire planet. They're the biggest
Yeah, they're bigger
land
than,
carnivore
they're
in
bigger
the
than
world.
grizzly bears. I know that.
Yeah, just way more rare because
Yeah.
they're,
Way up north.
yeah. Whereas grizzly bears, and we're not gonna get them here in
Actually, no, they're
Ontario,
not that
but
rare.
you
No,
just
no,
probably-
no. What do
you don't
say?
think
We're
there's gri- you
Canadian,
don't
man.
think-
I always play with the polar bears.
You don't think
There's
that
one
there's
outside my house.
you don't think that there's any grizzly bears in Ontario? Like
Well, Northern Ontario,
Maybe
but not
Northern
around
Ontario.
here. You're not going to say grizzlies at all. And
Grizzlies
even
prob-
then, I think it's more BC and Rocky
yeah,
Mountains.
actually, I'm pretty sure northern Ontario, very northern Ontario, we
have-
can get polar bears.
Yeah.
Northwest
Around the Hudson,
Territories,
around the
yeah.
Hudson Bay.
But
we'll
you
be
got to
able
go
to.
up.
Are you
right?
serious? You can get polar
Yeah.
bears in
I
northern-
think so. I'm
You
not.
gotta be
I may
right
not
up
be
Hudson's
correct,
Bay.
but still, you can travel to Alberta, and it's still probably closer than going to the northern tip top of Ontario from where we
Yeah.
are.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
Canada's
100%.
pretty barren. Like they say that most of the population lives within 100 kilometers of the U.S. border.
Yeah, 100%.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Especially here in Ontario, we got like 15 million or 15 or 16
We got
million
most of-
people in the
we got
province,
most of-
and most of them live by the Golden Horseshoe.
most of Canada's population probably lives in.
Yeah, it's a great like
Yeah.
32% lives here. So
Well, I think that's pretty much all we can do for today. We've touched on these
Alright.
topics a little bit. Whenever you hear this show, please comment and tell me what you think. I'm interested to hear it.
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Well, thanks a lot for having us,
Down
man.
at the bar,
Yeah, thanks for
capital
having
E.
us on the Big E.
Yeah.
You're anytime. Your presence is more than welcome. Does anybody have a closing statement they'd like to say, or is everyone pretty much wrapped up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, boys.
We're wrapped up. We're wrapped up.
Or do you want me to spit a rap? If I'm I'm not gonna do that.
Definitely got to wrap it.
Yeah, wrap it and bubble wrap.
All right,
bubble
sounds
wrap
good.
and
Wrap it and
millennial
bubble
tape,
wrap
man.
for the millennials.
For the
guys.
millennials who are easily offended.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm Capital E. This is Down at the Bar. And until next time, good night.